In this video, I'm going to be talking about our performance of Hit the Road Jack during rehearsals for our Decades gig. At the timestamp 0043 is when we actually started our rehearsal. As you can hear, the bass is out of tune with the keyboard. They're both playing in different keys, and this just does not sound good. It sounds quite flat. You'll see later on in the video, and I'll give the timestamp, I do correct this and mention it, as I found it very difficult to sing to. The timestamp where I stopped the music is 0051, and this is when I recognised that something was off and we were not going to be able to sing along to the instrumentation. Being someone that's grown up doing music and performance and musical theatre and reading from scores, doing musical theatre and listening to bands my whole life, my sister was very musical. I have the privilege of having an ear for things like wrong key, wrong tuning, something being out of tune, that sort of thing. So I know very quickly if something doesn't sound right. I think this really benefits me during rehearsal and performance. It makes things a lot easier for everyone else as well as myself. At the timestamp 0058, Ari also puts an input. She says that she doesn't think that Harvey or Ari herself are playing in the right key, but she doesn't know which one it is. Then at 1 minute and 15 seconds, I sing the tune and I recognise that the keys are playing the right tuning. At 1 minute 25 seconds, you can hear Ari tell Harvey to play on a different octave because he was playing on the wrong octave on his bass. And then at 1 minute and 36 seconds, you can hear us, we have figured out that that was the right key. Communication like this in rehearsals is really important. It helps us solve problems. It's also reassuring because it reassures me personally that I'm not the only one that thinks something doesn't sound right. So when someone else puts an input, it makes me feel more reassured. It also stands for a smoother rehearsal, because when people don't speak up and things aren't corrected, you end up rehearsing for way longer than you actually need to and not focusing on what actually matters. If you're rehearsing just to get a song done and rehearse so that you can just tick it off the list and say that you've done it, it's not actually getting you anywhere, and that rehearsal was pretty much meaningless. I really appreciate when people communicate during rehearsals, even if it's to criticise something that I've done wrong, so that I can clock it and understand for the next run through and make sure I don't make the same mistakes again. At 1 minute 53 seconds, you can hear me and Annie harmonising. I did this by not going up on the third, which is usually what I do, but I thought it would create more of like a crescendo effect if I stayed on the same note that Annie first sang, which is no more, no more, no more, no more, as Annie goes up to more, no more, no more, no more. I think this really complemented the note and it made it sound very nice. You can also hear at 1 minute 57 that I do the same here, I harmonise again. At 2 minutes 59 seconds, you can hear my voice kind of wobble. You can hear that I second guess myself about whether it would sound right or not. This was one of those moments where my intentions didn't fully deliver, and that's okay. I just kept singing, acted like nothing happened. If I did that on stage, that's what I'd have to do, so I just rehearsed as if I was on stage. This was just a moment of doubt where I didn't really know whether, one, I could hit the note, or two, whether it would sound right, because I was doing a belt, and I didn't know whether I should go into head voice, so it's like, I'll have to pack my things and go, instead of, oh. You can hear when I do the harmony, don't you come back no more. I do it in head voice instead of chest voice. I just think this complements it more, and it makes it sound nicer. It's more well delivered, and it just sounds prettier overall. I also want to add, it makes the next part that I sing more punchy. So it goes, I'll have to pack my things and go, that's right. It makes that sound more aggressive instead of, I'll have to pack my things and go, that's right. Doesn't sound as exciting, and there's not as much as many dynamics to it. At 3 minutes and 27 seconds, you can hear me kind of gradually go, roll Jack, because Annie missed her cue to come in and do that part, which is hit the road Jack, So I did it instead, and then Annie did my part. Once again, as if we were performing, I stepped in. I think it worked fine anyway. We both know each other's parts, so if that actually happened on the day, we'd be prepared to do it.